this holiday, Moral Mindset is going to be live for the next 3 weeks, where we are going to have different facilitators to talk about different topics that are going to equip these students who are in holidays, and then other people who are interested in getting to know the basic knowledge in financial education. So the overall objective of this program is to create the national visibility about the importance of financial education, as well as helping GREB as well as ICPA in enhancing the curriculum for professional development. So once again, welcome to this program. I would like to call everyone to stay tuned for this very important program. Thank you so much. Have an engaging and interactive session. Good day.
have enough, you are not meant to be financially successful, that there are no enough opportunities out there, that being rich is not for you, that's having a scarcity mindset. And it's the mindset that we are trying to make sure that you don't have by having these sessions. It is the mindset you should avoid, the scarcity mindset. In general sense, scarcity means not having enough of something. Those of you who have studied economics at some point, in economics, scarcity means that you have more needs than the resources that you have to obtain or to secure those needs. That's what scarcity means from the economics perspective. So they are all related. Number 3, a teacher called Mediatrice asked whether we will share these documents that we are using here, for instance, these slides, to learners. And the answer is yes. But because we don't know where you are right now and maybe your email, we will try and share these documents with your teachers, especially those of you who are taking accounting across the country, and they will try and share these documents with you. I hope that's reasonable. Number 4, the question came from Abayo, and the question was, how can your mindset affect your financial habits? Now, I want to emphasize that mindset and financial habits and financial success are all interrelated. They are connected. How are they connected? Remember that mindset is like our operating system. If you have ever used a computer or a phone, a smartphone especially, you know that these gadgets have operating systems. Those operating systems are supposed to help that machine, that gadget, operate successfully, operate the way it's supposed to operate. This is the equivalent of a mindset to us. Our mindset determines the things we believe, our responses to actions, to interpretations. Our mindset determines how we interpret the world around us. They determine what we believe and what we don't believe, what we do and what we don't do. Now, if you have a scarcity mindset, that means that you are always going to believe that the money you have is not enough. And how is that going to translate into your actions? The moment you, the moment you earn some money, you are going to try and spend it immediately because you're thinking, I may never have this amount of money again in my life. If, for instance, your uncle, your auntie comes home and gives you 50,000 as a gift, and maybe you don't usually get 50,000 in your life, you are going to try and spend that money because you're thinking, maybe this auntie, or I will not have another auntie in life giving me this much money. So you're going to try and spend it very quickly. And that's what we call a scarcity mindset. Your mindset about not being able to have more has translated into you spending all of your money very quickly. Another example is, if you believe that money is evil and people who have more money in life are evil, you are not going to work hard to earn more money. And consequently, you will have less money in your life. This is the relationship between mindset, our habits, and the reality we have in life. And the reverse is true. If you have an abundance mindset, it means that you believe that you can learn, you can earn more, that there are opportunities in life, and therefore you're going to try and have certain habits such as savings, such as tracking your money, budgeting, okay? And a combination of those habits is going to ensure that you have more money left in your pocket or in your account, and over time you will have more money than an average person. And that is the relationship between mindset, our financial habits, and our reality. I hope that is a good answer for you, but please do comment in the comment section if you still think there is something missing, and I will come to it at some point. The third question is, are we going to be examined? Are we going to be examined? The answer is yes. The answer is yes. Excuse me for a second. Thank you. The question was, are we going to be examined? And I was saying the answer is yes and no. Yes, in a sense that what you are going to learn today is going to be helpful in your life. So somehow, somewhere, life is going to test whether you understood these things. So it could be the experiences you have in life. It could be someone who sent you to follow this. Could be your parent, your guardian. But no, we are not going to have a formal examination. However, we are going to have some quizzes in session, some questions in session that are going to help us, that are going to test whether we have understood the concepts in this module. And to help you prepare, if you don't have it already, please do get a piece of paper, get a pen or pencil, get them ready with you. At some point, we are going to do some questions, attempt some questions, and then mark ourselves, test ourselves whether we've understood this very well. And of course, I'll provide answers at some point. The last question was, what's mindset? After all, we spent Tuesday speaking about the role of mindset. But what is mindset? Maybe I want to pause here and see if people actually understand mindset. Those of us who are following on YouTube, please comment in the comment section what you think mindset is in your own words. And I'm going to turn to my colleagues here in the studio and see what they think. What is mindset in your own words, in your own terms? What do you think is mindset? Yes, please.
Mindset is the way you view things. Mindset is the way you view things.
So yes, he says mindset is the way you view things. Thank you very much. That's a very good answer. Any other answer? Yes, please.
Mindset is the way that you understand things, you try to comprehend them.
Thank you. He says mindset is how you comprehend things. Okay, how you understand things. My sister, you wanted to say something?
Mindset is the way you believe things.
Correct. Thank you very much. Very smart answers here. Mindset is the way you believe things. It is how you believe things. And all of those answers are brilliant. They are excellent. Excuse me. Yes, so as we reconnect, I hope that those of us who had questions, who asked questions, have gotten answers. Feel free to comment again if you have more questions from the first session. And I want to encourage you again to answer more questions, to ask more questions as we go along with this session today. So, we are going to try and discuss, excuse me, so let's try and dive into today's session. Now, we are going to go back and discuss the difference between assets and liabilities, not from the technical perspective, not from the accounting perspective, but from the general life perspective. what are assets and what are liabilities. Now, before we discuss these things, I have a question for you. I have a question for you, and I would like you to look at what is on the screen. And tell me, we have 3 items on the screen. The first item is a smartphone. So that's A. A is a smartphone. Number 2 is livestock. So this can be a cow or a pig or anything. But for now, we have a cow. Number 3 is a pair of sneakers. Sneakers. I'm sure we all have sneakers, especially the younger generation. What do you think about these 3 items? What do you think can be considered an asset to you? I'm going to ask you to comment in the comment section, answer and say A or B or C. You can also use names and say smartphone, livestock, or sneakers. But let's hear from those who are in studio. Which of these 3 do you think is an asset? My sister?
Thank you. I think by my side, I think that B and A, livestock and smartphone, can be an asset of a person. Thank you.
Great. Okay. Do you mind explaining why?
Okay. First of all, an asset, I think, is something that a person can use or a business in the business or their life activities perform well. So the livestock, a person can be an asset because he can use it to get money or to improve him or herself. And a smartphone can be used in their activities, in calling or doing jobs. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. And we had someone else. Yes, please.
Thank you. On my side, first of all, I would like to give explanation of asset. Asset is something, is an item or something that a business or a person owns that will produce or generate some money or value in the economy. So, on side of individual, we can say that all those items that you show us are an asset, because you see asset on side of individual. Sneakers are asset on personal use, and that smartphone is an asset on personal use. Even that livestock you show us, a cow, is also asset. So it will be considered as an asset according to the sides which it have the function. On individual side, we can say all of those are assets. So my answer is that all those items you show us is asset, but is differentiated because of the part it is based on the business or individual. Thanks.
Brilliant answer. We have wonderful, excellent answers from my colleagues here. I'm sure you have your own interpretation of these items. Whether you think all of them, or one of them, or 2 of them are assets, or even none of them is an asset. There is an answer that my brother here has given us, which is quite interesting, that any of these items can be an asset or a liability depending on what you are doing with it. Whether this is your business or just an item you're using for daily usage. 1 second. Sorry for that. I'm trying to reconnect the presentation. But as I was saying that a smartphone can be an asset, as we've heard, if you are using it to earn something in your life. okay? And it can also be a liability, okay? Especially if you're using it to impress others and not to make any good use of it. For most people, livestock is an asset because it is going to generate some sort of value in people's lives, either milk or meat or selling it to earn some living. So for most people, that would be an asset, okay? But I don't want to go into the details. We are going to discuss what assets are and liabilities are, and at the end of this session, you will be able to answer this question yourself. Right, I think I'm experiencing some technical issues with the projector, but I will probably continue and then we find a way of reconnecting. Right, so let's try and understand what an asset is. My brother here from the studio discussed what an asset is, and I think I agree with the answer he provided. He said that an asset is something that can create some value or some income to us and to the economy. I think if I try to paraphrase what he said. And I think that's right. An asset is something that provides value and it can generate some level of income to us, such as owning a house, livestock, or having some savings. In simple terms, an asset is something that puts money in our pockets or in our bank accounts. So anything that can generate some level, some amount of money to you, okay, in that case, we also include mobile money. So I know people are going to say, okay, there are various ways you can save your money. Yes. Anything that can, so for argument's sake, we are going to say everything, bank accounts, mobile money, and mobile wallets and everything. Let's group all of those in one name, pocket. Let's call it a pocket. Anything that puts money in your pocket, that brings money in your pocket, is an asset. Before I go very far, I want to clarify that those of you who have studied accounting or financial accounting or financial management, the definitions you will get there are slightly different from these because you address accounting from a business perspective, primarily. Although the principle is the same, the technical definitions are slightly different from personal finance. The purpose of this session is for you to understand these aspects from a personal perspective. So, again, whether you are addressing this question from the business perspective or from a personal perspective, the principles are the same. An asset is something that creates value, that adds some money in your pocket. And that's true for both businesses and for individuals. But of course, the specific details are different for individuals and for businesses. And this can be a physical item or an intangible item. For instance, a physical item could be It could be livestock, as we've seen. This is a physical item. An intangible item could be a piece of software that you have that is making you money. That is also called an asset. It is your asset. These assets, these items, help us to build financial stability. The goal is for you to try and accumulate more assets than liabilities. As a matter of fact, just one second. As a matter of fact, when you have more liabilities in life than assets, you are considered to be financially unstable or dependent on others. A person who is financially independent, a person who is financially stable, is a person who tends to have more assets than liabilities. And that brings us to the second item, which is liabilities. What is the meaning of liabilities? Liabilities, this is something that you owe. This is something that takes money out of your pocket. Remember, let's do this. We said that assets put money in your pocket. And we said a pocket can be a bank account, it can be mobile money, it can be anything. So I will probably be right by saying, let's symbolize an asset with a plus sign. So this is something that puts some money in your pocket. And we said that a liability, on the other hand, is something that does what? It takes money
out your pocket.
Out of your pocket.
out of
Your pocket.
your
Okay.
pocket. For most of us, we have more things. We have more things that take money out of our pocket than those that bring money in your pocket. And what we are trying to help you understand is, how do you try and reverse that? This is essentially trying and getting more things that put money in your pocket and minimize those that take money out of your pocket.
Yes.
And so we will symbolize liability with a negative. So if you have in your life, if you have things that take more money out of your pocket, that take most of your money out than those that bring money, let's say in a month, if, for instance, if you make 500,000 francs, yeah, francs, if this is your income, an example, I know people make more than this or even this. If at the end of the month you have things that take 400, if you have things that take 400 out of this 500, that means that your assets are, so the savings are 100. That means that eventually, if this is what happens consistently, you are going to probably be financially unstable. The goal is to try and there are various ways you can do it. The goal is to try and have things that add money in your pocket than those that take money out of your pocket. And we're not saying that liability should be zero, that you should have zero things that take money out of your pocket, because we as human beings, we have things that happen in our life. One way you can do it is by increasing your income, and we will discuss how you can do it, and by decreasing your expenses. We have a question here in session. Let's hear from our brother here, and then we'll go back. Yes, please.
So what if those 400,000 are investments? Are those considered as liabilities or assets?
Great. His question is, what if part of these 400,000, these are investments? Can we consider these to be liabilities? The answer is no. Those are not liabilities. And of course, I know you're thinking, an investment could be, let's say you have invested in a piece of land, for instance. That piece of land is going to take money out of your pocket. So I know you're thinking, why can't we call this a liability? Remember, the end goal is for that piece of land to make you more money. So if you have spent your money on an item whose goal is to make you more money, then that is an asset. Okay? If you have invested, if you have, however, spent money on something that is not going to earn you more money, that is a liability. And we are going to see some of these examples. So as I was saying, that for us to be financially stable, we need to find many of these. And try and minimize this. That's the goal. And there are various ways you can do it. Of course, number one is you need to increase your income. If you have a job, this can be through acquiring new skills, maybe a new qualification, and maybe securing a promotion. Working hard, adding value to your employer, and securing a promotion. Or even changing a job, if that helps. If you have a business, that means rethinking your strategy, either adding a new product or securing a new market, new customers. There are various ways you can do it. But that's one way you can increase your assets and become more financially stable. Number two is decrease your expenses. Decrease your expenses. And those expenses eventually are what we call liabilities. Yeah? These are things that are going to take money out of your pocket without creating, value or some sort of income to you. And we have those examples. Okay? Can we have maybe 2-3 examples of the things we spend our money on in our day-to-day life? Yes, please.
Stock.
Sorry?
Like stock, rice, beans,
Yes. So food, yeah?
Yeah,
Food. Okay. Yes, please.
Okay, expenses we face, there are some way we face electricity, even transport, those are expenses.
Yeah. Electricity, transport. Yes. Yes, please.
Another expenses, some expenses we spend, like to earn some employees work in our home.
Yes. House helps. We spend some money on them. Yes.
Some expenses we face are doing some leisure activities, going to have fun, to do something that decreases our money from our
Yes, recreation. Okay, let's say you have to go somewhere to a bar. I'm sure you don't go to bars, but there are older people who go to bars. But you also do some recreational activities. Yes, please.
By my side, another expense that we spend from our money in our daily life, like buying our clothes or shoes and so on.
Yes, especially trending clothes and shoes. Okay, those usually tend to be expensive. Okay, so those are some of liabilities. So if we, yes, please.
Even the expense we spend for entertainment.
Entertainment, yes, entertainment. Yeah, I'm sure some of us buy video gaming equipment, okay, or other entertainment-related expenses. And we're not saying that you should never go for recreation, or you should not entertain yourself, or you should not buy clothes. We all need clothes. But as we will see, how much money out of your pocket, this 500,000 that you have a month, how much of this are you spending here, and how much of this are you spending here? That's the question that we should all ask ourselves. We should spend on liabilities in moderation, okay, and minimize them to an extent that we can still survive and live our lives comfortably. Beyond that level, we now enter a red zone and overspend, and therefore leave less money this side, and we create financial instabilities. Okay, that's the question. You had a question?
Yes.
Yes, please.
First, my name is Sonia. I have a question about the relationship between asset and liabilities. In our daily life, we can spend money for something which can earns also money in future. So, how can you classify the, for example, you pay the salary for your workers, and your workers will do something which will make you to earn the income. So can you classify that expense inside of liabilities or inside of asset? Because when you pay, you will get the income later. Can you answer me?
Good question. Yes, I understand that there are some similarities, and therefore those similarities can create some confusion. But to simplify this for you is, if you spend your money on something that is going to create more money for you, that's an investment. And it's an asset, therefore. Yeah? If you spend your money on something that is not going to earn you more money, or is not going to create some benefit to you, or some value to you, not benefit actually, because benefit can be, I think, misinterpreted in various ways. But if it's not going to make you more money or some value to you, then we consider that to be a liability from the personal financial perspective. Okay? So if you, let's say people who are like brokers or agents, if you are spending money to get a deal, yeah, if you're paying money for someone because you want a deal out of that someone, and maybe you spend 100,000, but you get 600,000 out of that deal, that wasn't an expense, that was an investment. Okay, so it depends on the purpose of that money that you are spending. Okay, that's the whole point. Right. So I want you to remember this definition, because this is going to define most of what we're going to discuss today. At some point, we're going to link these two and create what we call an accounting equation. Yeah? But I don't want to introduce it right now. We're going to discuss about it at some point. Remember, again, an asset is something that brings some income to you, that puts some money in your pocket. Okay, I have people who also interestingly call people, other people in their lives, assets or abilities. And you can use this analogy in every part of your life. Some people, I'm sure we all have people in our lives, whether family or friends. You have some friends whom you can call assets, and I don't want you to call them assets, but whom you can actually classify as assets. Because these are people who are going to bring opportunities to you. These are people who are going to call you. If there is some chiraka somewhere, they're going to call you first and say, hey, come here, there is the chiraka, right? Yes. These are people who are going to tell you, maybe you're going to tell them and say, I'm going to buy a new pair of sneakers or dress, fancy dress, and they're going to say, but you bought another dress or sneakers last week. Why are you buying a new one? And maybe you are going to end up not buying that dress or sneaker. That person is essentially an asset to you. Keep that person, okay? Yes. We also have people who people want to call liabilities. These are the people who are encouraging you to spend more, okay? These are people, you were there, they're like, let's go somewhere and spend money, and then tomorrow, and then the other day. And so, and I'm not saying, please, I'm not saying that leave those people, but know how to manage them, okay? Yeah? Because if you tell this person, if you have this kind of person in your life, maybe one way to manage this relationship is don't tell them when you earn money. Because if they know that you've made money, you've earned some money, people who work know this. If you know that ukwezi kwa fuye, the way they say it, they are going to create opportunities for you to spend. Yeah? Yes. Because they feel like money is there to be spent. Okay? How they usually say it. Money is to be spent, right? So find a way of managing, yeah? Sometimes a little lie can help you. You can say, maflaga rinya fitariko harahuna yashizi, okay? And then maybe you can save a bit of your money. We are going to take a few minutes and we will be right back. Just a few minutes. Stay tuned. We're not going for a very big break. Just a few minutes and we will be right back. Stay here. Just 2-3 minutes. Thank you.
Is on a mission. Transform education through technology. With a vision to become a leading multimedia production hub, the studio is dedicated to enhancing digital learning, fostering innovative educational content, and ensuring accessible, high-quality education for all.
It will also enable teachers to improve themselves and support each other's growth. We aim to bring this program to all schools.
To achieve this, the studio focuses on developing high-quality multimedia learning materials, supporting cost-effective digitization, improving capacity, and ensuring learning continuity. By expanding broadcast channels and streamlining production, it aims to make education more efficient and widely available. The studio adds significant value by reducing costs, increasing in-house production capacity, and ensuring rapid content delivery through social media, television, and radio. From multimedia learning materials and live science experiments to edutainment programs and digital textbooks, the studio embraces a diverse range of content. Its delivery methods include pre-recorded and live-streamed programs, talk shows, documentaries, and sign language videos, ensuring inclusivity and engagement for all learners. Through innovation and technology, the Rwanda Basic Education Board is shaping the future of education, making learning more dynamic, interactive, and accessible.
Is part of a series of sessions on financial literacy, where we are learning the fundamentals of financial literacy, especially from the individual perspective. And this program is championed by REB and ICPAR, and it is primarily for secondary school students, but it is also very helpful for every person. Today, we have been looking at the meaning of assets and liabilities and the role that each of those two plays in building a strong financial stability and dependency or independency. Now, we are going to move on to some traps, and maybe this is a test for us to make sure that we understood what we have already covered. Now, on the screen that is right behind me, you can see three items. Excuse me. Item number one is a credit card. If you don't know a credit card is like an ATM card that a bank or a financial institution gives you, especially if you are a member of that bank, that you can then use to spend. It is like small loans on your ATM card that you can spend, especially with money that you don't have on the account, and then slowly pay that money back to the bank. This is different from a debit card, because a debit card, on a debit card, you're spending using money on your bank account, but loaded on your ATM card. A credit card, on the other hand, you are spending with money that you don't have on your account. It's like a small micro loan that the bank gives you on that card, but most credit cards usually have certain limits. And then you usually pay this money back to the bank with some sort of interest and within a certain amount of time. We have some question here in the studio. Let's hear from this question. Go ahead, please.
As you said,
credit card?
Yes, this card. Is there an amount of money that a person cannot spend? Like, you have to say these are the limited money you have to spend on this card. Is that even possible?
Yes, it is possible. As I was saying, usually a financial institution, usually your bank, will give you this card, which looks like a debit card or an ATM card. Those of you who have seen a card, a bank card, and they will put you some limits, depending maybe on your profile, on your capacity, on your history, and different factors. And so that means that the money you can spend is that limit that you have. It's more like those of you who have used more cash or various mobile banking products, you usually have some limit. And before they load more money, you need to pay what you've spent before. Okay? So again, today we are not really going to study credit cards and banking, but I was just trying to give you basics. But maybe you have another question?
Is it able to grow your credit that the bank gives you? Is it able to grow the money they give you to spend?
By growing, you mean
your credit, the credit that they give you.
Right. Okay. So maybe there are two things there. There is what we call credit history. So if you think about your credit history or the credibility of the bank, yes. If you use that card very well and you pay on time, then it builds credibility with the bank. And in the future, they can raise your limit. But in terms of loan, yes, it also grows your loan with the bank. And if you default, that becomes a problem, not only to your bank, but to other places, other things in your life. You know, your history could go I think these days it's called TransUnion. It used to be called, I don't remember the name, but it means you've defaulted, okay? Yes, please?
I have been confused. You said that the credit card you can use for buying or spending something you want to buy. But what if you don't have the money on your account?
Great. Well, I think I want you to look at a credit card as those small amounts of money that MTN or Airtel can lend you on your mobile money. Those of you who have mobile money, you know you can borrow some small amount of money. Yes. And then even airtime. You know that sometimes you can borrow airtime, and then when you load money on your mobile money, your telecommunication company pays itself. You know, people do that. So a credit card more or less works like that. Okay, you have that card. The money is not really yours. You've borrowed it, but when you load money, then you pay the bank. I know you have many questions on credit card, but I want us to move very fast on other things. So I think she was the first.
Okay, thank you. My question is this. You said that the credit card is like a loan. You have given like any institutions. But my question said that if your loan have limit, okay, it's limit. When for example, I want to buy like shoes, and my limit was, and my credit card has limit, but I don't have the quick money, yeah. Okay? How can I buy that shoes and that my credit card has limit?
Right, okay, again, good question. I want you to think about a credit card as your mobile money. Now, I want you to think like this. What do you do if you want to spend money on your mobile money wallet, but you don't have enough money?
My question is that your loan on your credit card is according to your income. Like when bank want to give you a credit card, it depends on your income. Okay?
Yes.
It depends on income.
Yes. So yes, that means the limit on your credit card may be different from the limit on my credit card.
Okay.
Same as mobile money again. MTN or Airtel may lend you or him more money than you because of the history, because of the profile, because of the income, because of your capacity to pay. And as I said, I would like to stop here on credit cards. I will come back on credit cards and go on other things. I'm sure you can approach banks. They can explain more about these cards. Credit cards, debit cards. Today's lesson was not on credit cards and debit cards. We can, of course, come back to it later. But we just one more question maybe, and then we move.
Is it a must every employer or worker must have a credit card?
No. This is a personal choice. As a matter of fact, I think many people I know don't have credit cards. They have debit cards. Debit cards are based on your money, the money on your account. And so when you don't have enough money on the account, you cannot spend. So it's that's. Okay? Yes?
Before going out of the topic, I will come back on this topic that we have. We have the mullah trappers. So we see that we get their example, credit card, trending outfit, and the new smartphone. But they have some details that they explain there down. So there we see credit card is not is how we can use money that is uncontrollable. That in what we learn, we can see it cannot improve. It is takes money out of the pocket. Will be not importance. And you want to see on the other side, when you see outfit, there's also investment, but that investment will not generate anything when you get outfit. But that smartphone, so it is bargained for the purpose of financial, to bargain financial quickly. So it means that what we may see in these three examples that we have there, Mura trappers, we can see that smartphone is the most important that we can invest in it. So others, they are somehow, they can take us in that negative sign that we told us. We take the money out of the pocket. So
Yes,
I can see in these three examples on how you can see the most immoral trapper is that smartphone, because we'll be used for the purpose of generating financial gain quickly. Thanks.
Thank you. That's an interesting take on this. His view is that a smartphone is the biggest of the traps here. Remember, a trap is like mutego, right?
Yes.
Now, I put these three here for you to see some of the traps that we all fall into in our day-to-day lives. Many of us obtain credit cards from financial institutions, and eventually we end up spending uncontrollably. And that becomes a liability to us. The second trap that many of us fall into is trendy outfit, which is what we usually call drips. We all like drips, right? Kwambara neza ukaberwa, right? Trendy, especially trending outfits or clothes. Although buying some clothes is totally okay, but keeping up, in the US they call it keeping up with the Joneses, okay? If you are keeping up with everything you see on social media and buying every piece of clothes you see trending, especially those that are dressed or worn by celebrities, that is going to be a very bad investment, okay? That's going to drain you financially. Another trap that we all tend to fall in is new smartphones. Most smartphone companies or electronic companies, especially those popular ones, usually have usually have new versions of their smartphones, especially and usually every year. I'm sure you all know the latest model of iPhone on the market. What is the latest model? 16. See, you all know it right from your head. I'm sure this year we are probably going to get iPhone 17, maybe, okay? Other smartphone companies also produce their versions. Samsung has now maybe, is it like 24 Ultra, something like that? And other models have new versions every year. Although having a smartphone in your life is totally fine, but ask yourself whether you need a new model every single year. That's a question we should all ask ourselves. Do you need iPhone 17, 18, 19, like every single year? Maybe you do. But for most people, we don't need it. I'm sure you can afford to skip 2, 3, 4 years, and then you buy another model. But many of us think, I am going to be seen as someone who is inferior, so I need the latest model, okay? Remember those days when people used to take their phones right here, yeah? Yes. And I hear people say, people who have smartphones, they're like people who have cars. People who have cars usually don't put their car keys down, eh? So people who have iPhones usually put their phones here so that iPhone mark is visible, yes, right? Yes. And if you have maybe iPhone 10, you're not going to feel proud to put it here because people say, hey, you know, we have 16, you still have 10. Yeah. Which is why people usually tend to want to buy the latest model. For many people, that is unnecessary, and that can become a liability. Why is it so? An iPhone, for instance, 16, could cost you around maybe 1,500 USD, maybe 1,600, something like that. That is potentially 2 million plus, maybe 2.1 million. How many people in your surrounding, your friends, have 2 million just like out of their pocket? None. Very few, maybe none. Okay. So if you are struggling to get 500,000 in your pocket and then you spend 2 million, on a phone, just one item in your life, this is definitely going to be one of the reasons you're going to struggle financially. And please remember that I'm not saying we should never have phones. No, if you can afford an iPhone every year, go for it. But if this is a burden for you, don't force yourself to do what? To buy it. And although, of course, you know, I'm only giving these examples, but there are other examples in our lives that eventually become liabilities to us. Okay? We all have tendencies to do certain things that are not helpful for us. I want you to type in the comment section the common traps that we all fall into. Comment in the section. Maybe you have some addiction with something. Some people are addicted to clothes. Some others are addicted to, you know, laptops. They want to buy the latest laptops. Yes. Some people want to buy sneakers. Absolutely, yes. What other traps? What other things do we tend to waste our money into? Yes?
For buying sweet foods.
Sweet foods, yes. Fast food, eh? Definitely, yes. Yes?
Entertainment.
Entertainment. Such as?
Oh, such as entertainment, like going to the, like a Gisenyi. Enjoying life.
Exactly. Yeah, I understand some people went to Gisenyi during the long holiday. Yeah?
Yes, like this
once in a while, that's fine. But if you overdo it, that can become a liability for you. Okay? Anything else? Traveling, yes. If you do it very often, or if you do some expensive traveling, and maybe you struggle to afford it, that can become a liability for you. Yes. Cars, absolutely, yes. Some people buy cars that they cannot afford to maintain. Okay? Maybe you buy a car thinking I can afford 10 million to buy a car. But you forget that there is fuel, there is repairs and maintenance, and those can all be pile up very quickly and become liabilities to you. Yes. Any other traps? Yes. So we all have some of those things that waste our money. Comment in the comment section, and maybe other people will look at it and say, yes, that's something I also have, and maybe I need to avoid it. Yes? Maybe I'll start with him.
Except from knowing your class, in which way can a person avoid these smaller traps? In which other way can a person avoid these traps?
Right. Okay. So his question is, how can we avoid these traps? And I think this program is mainly there for us to understand how we can avoid these traps. Starting with our mindset. Yeah? Understanding that I need to have an abundance mindset. I need to understand the role of my mindset in financial success. Number two, we said understand the difference between assets and liabilities, and try and increase your assets and minimize your liabilities. There are various other ways. Number three, you can assess your friendships. And if your friendships, if 90% of your friendships are liabilities, they're encouraging you to spend and waste money, maybe try new friends, okay? Or maybe sit down with them and discuss about how to go about money. Undertaking a course on financial management can help you. A course or a video, watching a video on YouTube or social media about financial management and financial literacy can help you. Sitting down with an elder, maybe your dad or your mom or a friend or uncle, whom you think is good at managing money, can help you to gain some insights. Okay? I think she had the question first. Yes?
In addition to money traps, an example of money traps, like outfit of some girls want to change the hairs every week.
Mm. Yes. So we usually call that beauty and skincare and grooming. Yes? Yes, please.
Thank you. I have a question. Can we classify the bank loan as an asset or a liability?
I guess it depends on what you're doing with that loan. Okay? If you have obtained that loan for consumerism, for buying certain things like maybe a TV or something like that, then it becomes a liability to you. But if you've acquired that loan to do something that is productive, maybe you're buying a house and you're going to rent that house and earn some money, then that's not a bad thing. Yeah? Yes, please?
For me, it is not question, just is to answer my colleague. He asked you that how can you prevent the moral traps for expensing your money? So by my side, I think preventing peer pressure is the first one, is the important one, because in our daily life we have some friends who push us to spend more. So even though you prevent your peer pressure, you have the management of your money. So that's my answer.
Perfect. I think we discussed peer pressure Tuesday, and that does not mean we should never have friends. We all need friends. But of course, understanding your level and understanding the money you have and how to go about it and to avoid being influenced by others, it's absolutely important for us to be able to manage our money. Now, let's move on to something different and very interesting and entertaining. I want you to grab a piece of paper. Remember at the beginning of this class I said we are going to have some sort of like a test or a quiz. Now, whether you are in studio or you are following us on YouTube, grab a piece of paper, get a pen or a pencil or a marker, anything that can write. Sit down, and if you are maybe 2, 3 together, you can sit down and answer these questions together, or you can decide to answer them individually, whichever works for you. But these are 10 questions, simple questions, that are going to help test whether you have understood the difference between an asset and a liability. Do not type your answers in the chat yet. I will tell you when to type your answers, okay? Sorry, your scores. But every time I present a question, do not answer yet, because then you distract others who are trying to answer the question by themselves. I will tell you when to comment in the comment section. But have your piece of paper or a book and a pen or pencil, and let's challenge ourselves. Ready? Let's go. This is the first question. Do you think, and I don't need an answer now, just write your answer somewhere, yeah? But do you think a school savings account is an asset or liability? Don't tell me, write in the chat. Write your answer, in your paper, and we are going to have answers all together. So, a school savings account, do you think it is an asset or it is a liability? Okay? We are now going to move on to number 2. So I hope this is clear. A school savings account. Right? Whether this is an asset or a liability. Number 2, a phone, a smartphone that you have bought on loan. A loan from a friend, a family member, or a financial institution. Do you think that is an asset or it is a liability? So I want you to write number 1 and write whether it is an asset or a liability. Number 2, asset or liability. And do not discuss your answers yet. Number 3, livestock. Yeah, livestock. Maybe a cow that you have somewhere in your home or in your farm that is generating milk for your family. Do you think this is an asset or it is the liability? Write your answer down. Number 4, a mini side hustle equipment. We are in the hustle economy. Many of us have some sort of hustling that we do. So imagine that you have bought a small machine or equipment that you use for your hustle. Maybe this is a pool table, maybe this is a machine that generates, that sells beverages, yeah? Whatever it is. Do you think that is an asset or a liability? Write your answer down. Number 4, write your answer down. Number 5, trendy clothes that you have bought to impress others. Clothes that you have bought to impress those friends of yours who have always said you don't have a drip. And this time you bought clothes to do what? To show that you have drip. Is that an asset? Is that a liability? Write down your answer. Number 6, a bicycle that you use to earn delivering items or through delivering items. I'm sure many of us who live in Kigali or other cities, you have seen people using bicycles or even motorcycles to deliver items through companies such as Vuba and others. Do you think that is an asset or it is a liability? Write your answer down. Do not post your answers in the comment section yet. Number 7, daily airtime or data top-ups. No matter what your telecommunication company of your choice is, maybe it is MTN, maybe it is Airtel, or those who are based abroad, you have your own telecom companies. We all usually top up our phones, either airtime for calling or MBs to access the internet. Do you think that is an asset or do you think that is a liability? Write down your answer. Question number 8. How is the pressure? Are these things very easy? Are they difficult? Tell me in the chat, tell me in the comment section. Is this too hard for you or is it manageable? Number 8, motor rides for short trips. What does this mean? Maybe taking a motorcycle from for maybe something that for a distance that is maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kilometers, where you can either walk or maybe you can even take a bus. But because there is maybe too much sunshine or for other inconveniences, you take a motorbike. Is that the money you've spent, is that an asset or is it a liability for you? Question number 9. Remember the challenge? This is the Mura challenge, and we are trying to understand, to test our understanding of assets versus liabilities. And this is question number 9. If you have spent money to buy a book or books to help you learn, maybe learning a topic you have always wanted to learn, learning something because of your preparation of examinations, whatever it is you are learning, the money you've spent, maybe this is 20,000 Rwandan francs. Is that an asset? Is that a liability? And finally, question number 10. Gadgets that we are upgrading every year. This can be a smartphone, this can be headphones, this can be a laptop, this can be, what other gadgets do we usually buy? Cameras, yes. Whatever it is that you are buying and you are upgrading every year because the newer version is good, it is thick, it is effective, and it also looks fancy. Is that an asset? Is that a liability? Type your answer. Write your answer down. Now, we have answered or attempted 10 questions. What we are going to do in the next few minutes is to try and answer these questions together. And as we answer these questions, I want you to go down in your answers and mark yourself as we go along. Yeah? Yes. So question number 1, after we have answered, I want you to tick or cross. Okay? I know crossing is very hard. So if you have a hard time crossing, leave it. Okay? Or put another sign which is friendlier than a cross. Okay? But in your heart you know that you failed that. Okay? Do not cross and write the correct answer because you'll be cheating. And cheating is another example of scarcity mindset. Okay? And we don't want to have scarcity mindsets. So let's try to answer these questions together. And after answering these questions, we will give ourselves a score out of 10. So maybe 5 out of 10, maybe 8 out of 10, maybe 10 out of 10. And then I want you who are following us to type your score in the chat. Okay? And who knows, maybe we'll select some people who have tried and give out some prizes. You never know. So let's excuse me, let me connect the screen again. Perfect. Now those who are following us on YouTube, type your answers in the chat because that way you will not have to change your answers. Yeah? You are now committing yourself. Type your answers, copy all of them, and type them in the comment section. So let's answer these questions together. Question number 1 was about school savings account. And a school savings account is an asset. Why do we say that a school savings account is an asset? Because we are setting money aside and putting it in a separate account to help us pay our school fees either presently or in future. So we are not taking away money to spend on other things. We are saving it to add some value to us. Maybe you're saving that money for yourself, or you're saving it for your children, or for your friends or other people that you are supporting in your life. So that becomes an asset to you. Because guess what? If something changes, maybe if you are a parent and you're following us, and you've created a savings account for your children, and maybe your children suddenly get a scholarship, you can withdraw that money and use it to do other things. So that money, as long as it is there, it is an asset. You can use that asset to do important things in your life. So, did you get that right? If yes, tick. If no, be honest with yourself. It's all right. Number 2, the phone that you bought using a loan. Remember that smartphone? 2 million? Maybe you got a loan from a financial institution. That is usually a liability. Some people could argue and say, yeah, if the phone is going to be used for income generating activities, that yes, that can be an asset, but generally speaking, this tends to be a liability for most people. Okay, you had a question?
But if you use the phone for content creating, the content creators use their phone for daily making money. So that's an asset.
Yeah. In that case, yes, because it's generating some money. But for most people, this is a liability. For most people, because they usually, use it on average activities. Number 3, livestock. For most people, you would struggle to find someone who has livestock for other purposes other than generating milk, meat, and other income generating activities. Yeah, you would struggle to find people who have them. Excuse me, let me connect. Perfect. So for most people, livestock is an income generating asset. So it is an asset. So what is your score right now? We are on number 3. Hopefully you have 3 out of 3, but don't worry if you have less than that. Number 4 was a mini side hustle equipment. This equipment could be a camera that you use in your free time to do photography. It could be a machine, a vending machine. It can be, as I said, a mini pool table that you have somewhere. If it is for hustling, as we say, that means it is generating some income for you, and so it is an asset. Okay? So this is an asset. Let's move on to number 5. Number 5 was about trendy clothes bought to impress friends. Specifically, I put that because some people would argue and say, we buy trendy clothes because maybe I am a model, right? And I use those clothes to look good and to create some impression and a brand, and then eventually make money. That's fine. But I said, you bought these clothes to impress others. And these are things we have deep down in our hearts. We don't usually say this out, okay? You buy clothes, you don't usually tell people that you bought those clothes to impress others. But in many cases, people buy clothes to impress others. Because guess what? Originally, clothes were there to keep us warm. Our ancestors usually had clothes to keep them warm. Not to look good or to look fancy, no. But clothes have evolved to be an item of impressing and fashion and other things. So, for many people, this is a liability. And it is something we should avoid. Number 6. Number 6 was about a bicycle that we use to earn delivering items and to earn money. Okay? Do we think that is an asset or a liability? This is an asset because you are definitely generating some money from that bicycle or from that motorbike. And this is a business idea for those of you, for holiday makers. Those of you who are on holiday, I'm sure you can go and partner with some of these companies. And if you have a bicycle, you can earn some money delivering some items to people. Okay? If you want to earn some money during your holidays. Number 7 was about airtime or data top-ups. You have a question?
Yes.
Yes, please.
According to the answer there, it says that the airtime and data top-ups is a liability. But on my answer, I say is an asset or a liability because it can be asset if that airtime is used by daily to business activity. Some business, they work online, so they need that airtime to generate money.
Yes.
So on the side of the business, which works online, it can be an asset. But on side for the person use for just for fun or interest for use daily without no return benefit, it will be a liability. Thanks.
Thank you. That's a wonderful intervention. It's great. But remember when I started, I said, this session is mostly looking at our personal lives, okay? There's a bit of difference when you're looking at this from a business perspective. Some things may change sides depending on the perspective. But I want you to think that this is purely based on personal lives, individuals, okay? So everything we are doing here, I want you to think about you as an individual or people around you, not businesses. But as you said, even us as individuals, if you are using that airtime, if you're using that data to make money, that's a good thing. But for most of us, for most people, we buy MBs or data or airtime to do what? For fun. For watching TikTok?
Yes.
Yeah?
YouTube.
YouTube.
Getting news.
Reading news. Yeah? Calling some friends during holidays. Yeah? And that's not a completely bad thing. But it simply means that you need to understand that since that is a liability, you need to minimize that. Okay? Because if you let it go or get out of hand, it will create problems for you. Okay?
Yes.
But I'm sure some people have unlimited Wi-Fi in their homes. Right. Question number 8 was about motor rides for short trips. Motor rides for short trips. And I specifically said short trips because in many cases, people actually need to take motorbikes to go very far. Or if there is traffic and you seriously need to get to your job or to get to another important meeting or place, you definitely need that. But some of the motor rides we take are unnecessary. Okay? So sometimes it is a distance you can walk. It is a distance, it is a place that is very well connected with public means. You can take a bus, yeah, or you can share, a car with your friend. Maybe if your friend has a car, yeah. So if you take motorbikes for many short trips that are not necessary, that you can walk or you can use other means, this is going to pile up and become a liability for you. If you want to test this, I want you to sit down and track the money you spend on transportation every month. And divide that money in the money you spend on buses, the money you spend on motorbikes, and then see the impact it has on your money, on your overall spending every month. And so avoiding unnecessary short trips on motorbikes can be a way of saving your money. So this is a liability. Number 9, books. Remember to mark yourself as we go. Books. If you have bought a book to improve your skills, to learn, that is considered an asset. You have invested in yourself and you have boosted your skills and therefore your ability to earn. Yes, please?
Earlier you said asset. These are things that make you keep your money in your
pocket.
Yes.
Yes.
But books, you spend money while buying them. I think that buying books is like a liability or something. You have to explain it because I don't understand it well.
Excuse me, let me come. Give me a minute. Perfect. Yes. So our brother is asking a very valid question and saying, a book clearly takes money out of your pocket.
Out of your pocket, yes.
But remember that many assets, many things we called assets, also take money out of your pocket. Remember that motorcycle or motorbike?
Teacher.
you also buy it using money. Remember that vending machine?
Yes.
You also buy it using money. You take money out of your pocket. But remember the intention.
Yes.
The intention is to create more money. And it's investing, right? As he rightly said. The difference with a book is you're not investing in a physical item or equipment. You're investing in yourself. And when we started, we said that one way to increase your assets is to increase your income. And how do you increase your income? One way to increase your income, especially if you have a job, is to acquire new skills. Maybe study a new program or a new certificate, and then obtain new skills, add more value to your employer, and potentially get a promotion. People who usually get promotions, people who usually advance in their careers, are people who usually invest in their skills, in themselves. And the reverse is true. People who usually stay stagnant, usually, and I mean usually, generally, it does not mean all the time, but usually are people who don't usually invest in themselves, in their skills. And investing in a book to obtain more skills, and it's not only a book. It can be a video, it can be an online course, it can be sitting down with someone who is very skilled to teach you something. All that, and maybe you sit down with your friend, and maybe she knows something you don't know, and maybe you buy her juice. That juice becomes an investment, right? Of course, never tell her that, I'm investing in you, okay? Yes. But you know in your head that the money you've spent on that juice, and the transport to get there and airtime to call her, all that is investment because you want to obtain some skill. Is it okay now?
It is okay, Sam.
Great. Great. So, a wonderful mechanism of boosting our incomes is to invest in ourselves, in our skills. Learn a new skill. Improve an existing skill. Okay? I'm sure many of you here, maybe this year, you have learned some things. Okay? I'm sure some of you, or most of you, have learned or you are learning how to use AI. Right?
Yes.
Because AI is a relatively new concept to many people. If you have not, this is a chance for you to try and learn how to use AI. And by learning how to use AI, you will improve your skills and improve your productivity at whatever you're doing, for instance. That's a quick example. So that can be an investment. Excuse me. Right. So a book can be classified as an asset. And finally, a gadget. And this is an example we had already given. So if you followed, I'm sure this was easy for you. Gadgets that we upgrade every single year usually can be liabilities. Because remember, using an example of a phone, if you are spending 2 million today, and maybe who knows, iPhone 17 could be 2.5 or even 3 million, okay? Next year you spend 4 million, okay? So you know this is going to become financially draining for you. And although some people of course can afford this and maybe they have a lot of money and this is not a big problem, but whether this is a small amount of money for you or this is a big, huge amount of money for you, it's absolutely important that we understand that this is a liability. Whether it is for an average sort of like person or a high income earner, it is a liability to all of us. The difference between us is the impact it is having on our financial ability. Yes. Okay? For some people, you can afford to buy a smartphone and it's fine. Nothing much. For other people, you may buy a smartphone and they don't eat for the rest of the week or even month. Okay? Or even you don't even have rent. Okay? Because you bought a smartphone. or even have other problems or other burdens in your life because of a smartphone. So it's important for us to manage those and be able to buy only ones that we can afford. So we have come to the end of the quiz, okay? The challenge, the Mura challenge. What is your score out of 10? I want you to type your score in the comment section right now and say maybe it is 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 10 out of 10, or even 0 out of 10. Don't be embarrassed to write that in the comment section, okay? And who knows, maybe you will get some prizes as promised through this program. And let me check with my friends here who are in the studio and see how they performed, okay? I want you to write on your paper out of 10 and circle. And then I'll take a look and see. Perfect. We have someone with a 7. We have someone with a 9. Wonderful. We have someone with a 9. Great. We have someone with a 10. Yes. Someone with a 9 and someone with a 10. Perfect. Great. We all have above 5, which is the general pass rate. So which means we really have a very solid understanding of assets versus liabilities. Perfect. So we are, before we move on to the rest of the section, we are going to take another short break. And after this break, we're now going to dig deep into what kind of assets we can all have in our lives, what kind of assets we can start with depending on our incomes. We are also going to understand the meaning of an accounting equation. Many people have heard this and they wonder what that is and how an accounting equation can be helpful in your life. And again, as I said, I want you to think about this, whether assets or liabilities or the accounting equation or everything we've said, from the personal perspective, personal finance, financial literacy for individuals, for people, okay? Again, the principles are the same for businesses, but how we apply them can be different depending on whether this is a business or this is an individual. If you are following this and you know someone who might benefit from this, please do call them or text them and share this link and be helpful to them. Be an asset to them and share this opportunity with them for them to follow as well and learn. And you can as well bookmark this somewhere on your gadget and watch it after now or after today. Remember that we are going to have these kinds of sessions on Tuesdays and Thursdays for 4 weeks. So this is 1 week. In other weeks, you're going to learn how to use budgets, investing, and other important lessons in personal finance and financial literacy. Again, although this is mainly for high schoolers, it can be helpful for everyone, whether you have a job, whether you have a business, whether you are young, or whether you are an adult. Before we go for break, we have a question in the studio. Yes, please.
Okay, my question is this. You like to use the word mula, but I don't get the meaning of mula. What is the meaning of mula?
Perfect. Okay, so my sister in the studio has asked an important question. What is mura? We said in the beginning that mura means, what is mura?
Money.
Mura means money. Okay? Mura means money. And this is, again, this is street language, okay? Izi ni mvugo zo muri imihanda, okay?
Yeah.
But when you go to your parent, they may not understand, so you need to send money, okay? Or if you go to an office somewhere, yeah, maybe you go to a bank teller and you say, can you give me mura? They may not understand, so you may need to interpret and say, I need money, okay? Perfect. But this is absolutely fine. Courtesy of REP and ICPAR, thank you very much for arranging this program. and organizing and coordinating for this to be had. We are going to come back after a short break and continue to understand what an accounting equation means and also learn other important aspects of this session. Thank you and see you in 10 minutes. Thank you.
The Rwanda Basic Education Board Multimedia Production Studio is on a mission to transform education through technology. With a vision to become a leading multimedia production hub, the studio is dedicated to enhancing digital learning, fostering innovative educational content, and ensuring accessible, high-quality education for all.
It will also enable teachers to improve themselves and support each other's growth. We aim to bring this program to all schools.
To achieve this, the studio focuses on developing high-quality multimedia learning materials, supporting cost-effective digitization, improving capacity, and ensuring learning continuity. By expanding broadcast channels and streamlining production, it aims to make education more efficient and widely available. The studio adds significant value by reducing costs, increasing in-house production capacity, and ensuring rapid content delivery through social media, television, and radio. From multimedia learning materials and live science experiments to edutainment programs and digital textbooks, The studio embraces a diverse range of content. Its delivery methods include pre-recorded and live-streamed programs, talk shows, documentaries, and sign language videos, ensuring inclusivity and engagement for all learners. Through innovation and technology, the Rwanda Basic Education Board is shaping the future of education, making learning more dynamic, interactive, and accessible. The Rwanda Basic Education Board Multimedia Production Studio is on a mission to transform education through technology. With a vision to become a leading multimedia production hub, the studio is dedicated to enhancing digital learning, fostering innovative educational content, and ensuring accessible, high-quality education for all.
It will also enable teachers to improve themselves and support each other's growth. We aim to bring this program to all schools.
To achieve this, the studio focuses on developing high-quality multimedia learning materials, supporting cost-effective digitization, improving capacity, and ensuring learning continuity. By expanding broadcast channels and streamlining production, it aims to make education more efficient and widely available. The studio adds significant value by reducing costs, increasing in-house production capacity, and ensuring rapid content delivery through social media, television, and radio. From multimedia learning materials and live science experiments to edutainment programs and digital textbooks, the studio embraces a diverse range of content. Its delivery methods include pre-recorded and live-streamed programs, talk shows, documentaries, and sign language videos, ensuring inclusivity and engagement for all learners. Through innovation and technology, the Rwanda Basic Education Board is shaping the future of education, making learning more dynamic, interactive, and accessible. The Rwanda Basic Education Board Multimedia Production Studio is on a mission to transform education through technology. With a vision to become a leading multimedia production hub, the studio is dedicated to enhancing digital learning, fostering innovative educational content, and ensuring accessible, high-quality education for all.
It will also enable teachers to improve themselves and support each other's growth. We aim to bring this program to all schools.
To achieve this, the studio focuses on developing high-quality multimedia learning materials, supporting cost-effective digitization, improving capacity, and ensuring learning continuity. By expanding broadcast channels and streamlining production, it aims to make education more efficient and widely available. The studio adds significant value by reducing costs, increasing in-house production capacity, and ensuring rapid content delivery through social media, television, and radio. From multimedia learning materials and live science experiments to edutainment programs and digital textbooks, the studio embraces a diverse range of content. Its delivery methods include pre-recorded and live-streamed programs, talk shows, documentaries, and sign language videos, ensuring inclusivity and engagement for all learners. Through innovation and technology, the Rwanda Basic Education Board is shaping the future of education, making learning more dynamic, interactive, and accessible. The Rwanda Basic Education Board Multimedia Production Studio is on a mission to transform education through technology. With a vision to become a leading multimedia production hub, the studio is dedicated to enhancing digital learning, fostering innovative educational content, and ensuring accessible, high-quality education for all.
It will also enable teachers to improve themselves and support each other's growth. We aim to bring this program to all schools.
To achieve this, the studio focuses on developing high-quality multimedia learning materials, supporting cost-effective digitization, improving capacity, and ensuring learning continuity. By expanding broadcast channels and streamlining production, it aims to make education more efficient and widely available. The studio adds significant value by reducing costs, increasing in-house production capacity, and ensuring rapid content delivery through social media, television, and radio. From multimedia learning materials and live science experiments to edutainment programs and digital textbooks,
access to ongoing training, networking opportunities, professional growth, and development, all designed to keep you relevant, competitive, and future-ready in today's fast-moving financial world. The CAT qualification is more than a stepping stone. It's your launchpad to a career that grows with you. Start your journey today. Visit www.imis.icparrwanda.com to register or call +250 783 063 592 for more information. ICPAR, unlimited possibilities. Looking to kickstart a career that's recognized, respected, and full of opportunity? The Certified Accounting Technician's CAT qualification, offered by the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Rwanda, ICPAR, is your gateway to becoming a trusted professional in accounting, tax, audit, and more. With just 13 courses, you can complete the full qualification and fast-track your way into the professional world. Earning the CAT qualification means more than just passing exams. It's your entry into a vibrant community of professionals. As a CAT member of ICPAR, you'll unlock access to ongoing training, networking opportunities, professional growth, and development, all designed to keep you relevant, competitive, and future-ready in today's fast-moving financial world. The CAT qualification is more than a stepping stone. It's your launchpad to a career that grows with you. Start your journey today. Visit www.imis.icparrwanda.com to register or call +250 783 063 592 for more information. ICPAR, unlimited possibilities.
Welcome back from the short break, and we're going to continue from where we left, where we are discussing the difference between assets and liabilities and the role of these two contrasting words in building our financial life and for us to be financially successful, and for us to understand how they all work together. Before we went for the break, we did our quiz, and now we're going to move from there and discuss some of the assets that we can start with, especially if we are starting from humble beginnings. If you have more money, you can obviously go all the way up. But you will have seen or heard people either read stories from social media or from friends and family of people who are doing businesses, livestock businesses, pigs, chicken, cows, and others. Agriculture or animal husbandry, as it's usually called. Others are doing farming in the fields, agriculture. Okay, maybe it's horticulture. It is you have a garden. You have whatever you're doing. and people make money out of that. But there are also other businesses that are suited for urban areas. For instance, there are people who invest in land, in real estate. There are people who have small businesses, either restaurants, maybe you have a mobile money kiosk, maybe you have a motor or a bicycle and you're doing door-to-door delivery, or you have invested in a car and you're renting it out. Whatever you are doing, that can be a source of income for you. So think about things you can invest in that can create money for you and for your family as well, because many of us tend to have people in our lives that we need to support, right? So, and in the digital age, people are actually advancing to even more interesting things. We talked about AI, for instance. There are people who are into coding, web development. There are people who are doing different sorts of consultancies. There are people who are helping others in their jobs. So for instance, during holidays, you may want to go and help your parents or your family members or your friends in whatever they are doing, and maybe they cut you some money, okay? Try to be useful, try to be helpful, and start generating some sort of income that then you can build on in future and buy more beneficial assets that would even create more money for you. I want us to discuss something about an accounting equation. Accounting sounds very scary to many people who don't do accounting. So you don't need to know accounting for you to understand an accounting equation. My job today is to make sure that I help you understand an accounting equation and be able to have a meaningful conversation with people who have studied accounting. And maybe you have a business and your accountant usually tells you about an accounting equation, assets, liabilities, equity, capital, and you struggle to understand these terminologies. My job today is to make sure that you walk out of this session have a very solid understanding of an accounting equation. An accounting equation is very simple. Assets equal liabilities plus equity or capital. So far, we have seen what assets are. We have also seen what liabilities are. Now the question is, what is equity or what is capital? If you know the answer, please type it in the comment section. But equity is money that we have set aside, that we have, and we can invest it in a business. If you have a business, usually your business will be financed by your own money or money from friends and families or investors, and that is called equity, plus loans. And loans are liabilities. So if you have a business, there is usually two ways you can finance your business. Your money, that is equity, that you invest in, or money from your family or friends, equity or capital. And you usually hear people say, we don't start businesses because we don't have capital. Yeah? So that is your own money. But money that you can borrow from others or from financial institutions is called liabilities. So all the assets you have in your life are going to be financed by two means. You are either going to finance them using your own money, the money you have earned from your job or from your business, or the money that you have borrowed. And, of course, some people steal money, but please don't steal money, okay? Because I know people would say, okay, if you steal money, you can steal. So I don't know how you will classify that. Will that be liability or capital? Depends on your beliefs. Many people believe that that is a liability. You have to pay the money you've spent in one way or another. You are either going to jail or someone else will steal it from you. I don't know. But you are going to finance your assets using either your money or the money that you have borrowed. The goal is to try and minimize, again, liabilities. And before we go very far, I want you to think about an accounting equation as a pizza. For you to make a pizza, you need several ingredients. And you put all of those ingredients, maybe you need cheese, maybe you need mushrooms, maybe you need wheat, maybe you need water, maybe you need whatever you need. You put all that together and you come up with a pizza. And then you slice this pizza into various slices or pieces. When you take some pieces out of that pizza is not full. It is only full when you put all those pieces together. Okay? And they make a full pizza. That's the accounting equation. When you remove one piece, it is not full. It comes together when you put all these three together. And I want us to discuss this a little bit. Now, I want us to think about assets. Okay, and we said that assets can be financed by liabilities plus equity or capital. Some people call it capital. Now, I want us to think about certain things we have in our lives. So let's say you want to buy a house. And maybe this house is going to cost you 50 million. 50 million francs. Let's say out of that 50 million, you have 10 million in your bank account. Okay? What is that 10 million? Is that liability or equity? Yes, please.
Equity.
That is equity because this is your money. Okay? The money you already have on you. So we are going to say that this 10 million is equity. What an accounting equation tells us is that you are not going to have this house. You are not going to have this house with your 10 million. You need more money. So where are we going to get more money? Because we don't have the 40 million. We need 40 million. We need 50 million. We already have 10 million. And we need 40 million. Where can we get that money from? Yes, please.
Can get from a loan from a bank.
Loan from a bank? Yes. Any other sources?
Loan from families or relatives.
Loan from families or relatives? Yes. Yes. So whether that loan you're getting it from a loan from a bank, or whether you're getting it from friends or family, it is called a liability. Why? You will need to pay this money back. Unless, of course, you get a grant or a gift from someone, okay, which is usually not common. Yes, please.
We pay the money with interest or what?
Of course, it depends on. So the question from him is, do we pay this loan, 40 million, with interest or without interest? It depends on who has lent you money. If it is a financial institution, if it is a bank, chances are that you're going to pay with interest. So chances that you're going to pay more than 40 million back. If this is your dad or your mom, there is a chance that they may say, mwana wanje, take this 40 million, you pay back without interest. That's fine. Yes. Okay, so it depends on who has lent you the money. Yes, please.
Okay. You said that the money from your friends can be liability. Even though, what if your friends gives you donation, can be classified or considered like liability?
No. If someone has given you a gift, a financial gift or a donation, that's not equity, unless it has conditions. Yeah? So your friend may say, out of 40 million, I'm going to give you 10 million as a gift, but on condition that you finish this house in 2 months or 5 months, or on condition that I'll come and stay with you, for instance. So, for as long as that person, you have not fulfilled the conditions, it still remains a liability. But that's a bit of complication. For now, to make it simple, let's assume that you are getting money either from your own pocket, your own account, or from other sources, maybe a loan or
financial
institution, or you're borrowing money from people. Okay? Right. So, as we have seen here, we have seen that everything we own, every asset we have in our lives, is going to be financed by either our money or money borrowed from other sources, or a combination of both. The trap here is, the trick here is this. While we have this equity on us, while this is our money, and it is usually free, of course, in principle, but usually nothing is free, but this, at least, is our money. This is usually not free. This comes with a cost. There is a cost you pay for using money from other people, from banks, from financial institutions. Usually, they will give you this 40 million with some sort of interest. And the conditions as well. Okay? So you may find that they will give you this 40 million, but they want you to pay it in maybe 5 years. And maybe they will also need you to pay with 18% interest. And when you do math, you may find that after 5 years, in addition to 40 million, you're going to pay maybe another 20 million in form of interest. So you need to be very careful with liabilities and loans. When you get a loan, when you borrow money from your friends or from a financial institution, it is extremely important that you understand, you have a very solid understanding of the conditions attached to that money. Some of those conditions may not be financial. There might be other conditions. If this is a friend who has given you money, they may be expecting something from you. So you need to be able to understand what are the conditions for me to get this money. Because, we all need our money. So for us to give that money to our friends or to other people, it's because we're expecting something from that person. Because otherwise we would be using that money for our own use. Yeah? So, if someone gives you money, if it is a bank especially, it's extremely important that you read the contract and understand the terms. You may find that in the contract, it says that after 2 months, if you have defaulted, if you have not paid your interest, after 2 months, they will take back that house. And so for you, you sit there, you enjoy life. One day, the bank comes and says, my friend, give me my house back. The conditions may say that if you get that money before 5 years, you are not allowed to pay it back. they will add some penalty for you. There might be all sorts of conditions. Okay, so the point here is try and understand the cost. Yeah, cost of debt. Okay, which is usually what we call this interest. Okay, so it's absolutely important for you to understand the interest. Someone had a question? Yes, please.
Thank you again. You said that asset is equal to the liabilities plus equity or capital.
Yes.
As financial accounting or accounting equation.
Yes.
But my question is that, is this, can't be asset can't be only equal to the equity only, or asset can be liability only without combination of those two, liabilities and equity?
Good question. So, her question, remind me your name?
My name is Sonia Widhai.
Sonia, thank you. Sonia's question is it possible for us to have an equation that is like this? Can assets be either liabilities only, yes, or the equity only? And the answer is yes, but the equation still has to be complete. So you have to add equity here, but then using this example, if you finance your house of 50 million,
Yes.
for this equation to be one line, it means you have to finance it using 50 million from the bank and 0 money from your pocket.
Nice.
Or vice versa, you may finance it purely using your money. So 50 million, maybe you have saved enough money. Yeah?
Yes.
So it is absolutely possible, but remember the equation always is there. So one side, it has to be either 0 or something. Okay? Yeah. Now, I hope that's a good understanding for you. I hope this is good for you to understand. Now, let's go back to the first slide we saw when we started our session. And we are coming to an end of this session. So I want to make sure that we have all understood the difference between these two. So we have a smartphone, livestock, and sneakers. I hope we can now all that a smartphone usually is a liability, livestock is usually an asset, and sneakers can be liabilities. But again, these can play different roles depending on what you do with them. I hope we understand that. Now, as we come to the end of this session, I want to challenge you to go and create or capture a photo or a short video demonstrating a young person spending through liabilities, spending waste-free, and post that and tag both REB and ICPAR and use some creative slangs that we usually use. And you could win interesting prizes. As we come to the end, this is how you can contact us. This is the email from REB and from ICPAR. And this is my personal Twitter X handle. Usually I post more financial literacy related content on this. So if you want, or if you're on X, you can follow me and engage with me there. And these are phones that you can call as well if you have questions. Leave questions in the comment and those questions will be picked up. Remember that we have these sessions on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I very much thank you very much for joining us today. I thank very much my colleagues who have joined us here in the studio and everyone who has tuned in on YouTube. Keep commenting, keep sharing these links with your friends and family. And let's meet. Next week you have someone else, not me, who is going to take you through another module. Stay tuned. Thank you very much. My name is Moses Asimwe and I'm very glad to be with you from Tuesday and today. Thank you and stay well.
The studio embraces a diverse range of content. Its delivery methods include pre-recorded and live-streamed programs, talk shows, documentaries, and sign language videos, ensuring inclusivity and engagement for all learners. Through innovation and technology, the Rwanda Basic Education Board is shaping the future of education, making learning more dynamic, interactive, and accessible.